Good evening, you are once again welcome to another exciting edition of The Watchman. Today we are going to look at the various issues that are happening in the country, and to be specific is the Shatta arrest, Fanny Face's arrest. We are also going to look at the police shortfalls that has to do with this particular arrest. We are also going to look specifically into the 1960 law that criminalizes publication of false news, and to be specific, Section 208 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29. We are going to look critically into that particular law, whether or not that law is good for us as a democratic state today. We will also look at the police applying to the court for remand of suspects, what this actually means, and simply what remand means. We are also going to look at the false prophecies that has to do with what is happening in this country. And if you would recall, is because of this false prophet Shatta said was the reason why he faked the news on his attack. This and all we are going to look today. My name is Efo. I'm your host. But before we delve into the discussion, let's go for a quick commercial break.
Do you want to build your dream home, from land acquisition to finishing anywhere in Ghana? Do you want to revive the life and beauty of your old house? Do you have any property in Ghana that you want it managed for side income? Then look no further. Senko Global Developers Limited is at your service. We offer the following services at affordable rates: building construction, renovation works, electrical engineering, biofuel digester construction, building plan drawing, sales of land and houses, supply of construction materials. We also give you the opportunity to invest in our properties. Call or WhatsApp us on 0201 950 509 or email us on info@senkoglobal.com. You can also visit our website at www.senkoglobal.com. Locate us at the first floor of the Denta Shopping Center. Senko Developers, building for generations.
Thank you. You are welcome back to The Watchman, and today is The Watchman's Take. And like I promised you, we are going to look straight into the matter. First of all, let's look at the criminalization of fake news publication in Ghana, which is actually a law enacted far back in 1960. When this issue of Shatta coming up, or it has turned out that Shatta has faked his the attack on him, I was one of the many Ghanaians that took to social media to demand that Shatta should be arrested. Shatta should be arrested. The pastor, I was also very specific, saying that the pastor in question that actually prophesied, I would say that prediction or lotto forecasting, prophesied that Shatta will be shot on October 18th, 2021. I was one of those that took to social media. But interestingly, the police also responded to that particular, fake news that went around that Shatta was shot, and the police issued a statement saying that they have been searching for Shatta for all this while and they couldn't find Shatta. They went to even hospitals, called close associates and all Shatta or any news from these close relatives that confirmed that he was actually shot. But you see, when you read the various news that actually led to this, the news, actually the bloggers and the journalists that published this particular news confirmed that they spoke to a manager of Shatta, and he confirmed that the incident happened. But unfortunately, it turned out that it didn't happen. And we were all angered and carried by emotions, and we called for Shatta arrest. And the police, even before we, the citizens, went on social media calling for his arrest, the police themselves also made, indicated that Shatta is on their wanted list. Then, fortunately, Shatta turned himself up, and we are told that the police arrested him. But after Shatta arrest and discussions started and all that, I cited a Facebook post this morning by international law expert Mr. William Nyako, who is the executive director of the Africa Center for International Law and Accountability. And I'm going to read to you what he wrote on his Facebook. And he said, in a democratic society, should a person be imprisoned for allegedly publishing false information? Criminalization of speech under seditious or criminal libel was repealed circa 2001, but criminalization of false information, which is also a mirror image of criminalization of speech, still remain on Ghana's criminal code. Post-colonial rule. Parliament should repeal Section 208 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29 now. That is what Mr. William Nyako posted on his Facebook page, and he actually pulled that particular Criminal Offences Act, and this is what the act says. Let me just have a quick overview. With this section 208, then publication of false news with intent to cause fear and alarm to public. Then clause 1 says, any person who publishes or produces a statement or rumor or report which is likely to cause fear and alarm to the public or disturb the public peace, knowing or having reason to believe that the statement, rumor, or report is false, is guilty of a misdemeanor. Then clause 2 says that it is no defense to a charge under section 1 that the person charged did not know or did not have reason to believe that the statement, rumor, or report was false unless he proves that prior to publication he took reasonable measures to verify the accuracy of the statement, rumor, or report. This is what the law is saying. That is the Act 29 of the Criminal Offences Act, Section 208. This is what is saying. And Mr. William Nyako is actually saying, questioning if this particular law is needed now or is good for us as a democratic state. Now, when you look at the other side of the coin, you realize that today is Shatta, tomorrow might be you. And when you read carefully what this is saying, it's trying to say that anything that you put out in the public domain that it turns out to be false, or is a rumor that turns out to be false, then you can be jailed. You can be arrested, you can be jailed. Now, let's take a critical look at this. This simply means that in the event that you are a journalist, you have rumored a particular incident, or you have published a certain news, or you have published a certain information, and after cross checks, it turns out that that particular publication you did, the incident actually did not happen. It means that you have published a fake news, meaning you will be caught under this particular law. Now, even if you are a minister of state and you say something in public, maybe you are on radio and say something that it turns out that that particular thing that you said is not true, you've also published a fake news. It means that you will also be caught under this particular Criminal Offences Act. Now, it means that this particular law, when you look very deeper into it, it will be very, very difficult in a democratic state, which we are saying that we are promoting free speech. And one of the ingredients of democracy is free speech. When you allow the citizens to participate in governance by voicing out their views, their opinions, and all that, which of course not every opinion or not every view or not everything that you say would be true. Some of them, as time goes on, cross-checks and cross-check, it will turn out that some of them are actually false. So should we be, jailed for saying some of these things that turns out to be false? Let's take a critical look even at President Akufo-Addo himself. Recently, or last week, there was a news report when he went to Cape Coast. He actually said on radio that he never promised to build a harbor for Cape Coast. He never promised to build a harbor. Now, that particular statement that he made generated a huge public debate, for which we have cited a video in which his Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, during the 2020 manifesto launch in Cape Coast, stated clear, without mentioning any word, stated clear that they will build a harbor, a landing beach at Cape Coast. And when you read even page 88 of the MPP manifesto, that particular thing that Dr. Bawumia said is well captured, clearly captured there. Now, when you look at what President Akufo-Addo said, that he never promised to build, harbor in Cape Coast, and it turns out that in the manifesto is there, and he was forced by the public, outcry or public debate to actually even come and apologize. Then it means that he has also published a false information, and indeed he said this on radio. So should President Akufo-Addo also be arrested? And when you look at when this issue was trending, Dr. Okoboy was also on radio, and he said that the promise to build harbor in Cape Coast was not that of President Akufo-Addo, but rather Dr. Bawumia. When it actually turns out that this is actually a policy document captured, or a policy decision captured in the MPP manifesto, so it means that Dr. Okoboy should also be arrested and then charged for publishing false information or fake news. Let's look at Prophet Bedukobi. Prophet Bedukobi, some few months or few weeks ago, was met with should I describe it as a social media embarrassment, when he actually prophesied, is it prophecy or is it a prediction or whatsoever, that Chelsea will win a certain match. And it turned out that Chelsea didn't win the match. So for Prophet Bedukobi, that particular information that he put out, it tends to be false. And when you look at how the betting system works, sports and betting system work, it can even influence that particular statement that he made, can equally influence somebody to actually go and bet in favor of Chelsea. Meaning that someone can commit a huge financial, make a huge financial commitment to go and bet for Chelsea just because Prophet Bedukobi said that Chelsea will win. And it turns out that Chelsea didn't win, and he has to come out to say that, to apologize and say that he was joking or whatsoever. So now, should Prophet Bedukobi also be arrested for publishing, fake news? Now, let's look at Dr. Bawumia, which is the vice president we know, with his economic data that he always pushes to the public domain for us to consume. Some of the things he say about economic data, some of them turn out to be false. So should he also be arrested, for putting out false figures in the public domain, because that is news publication. So this is the actual thing that, Mr. Nyako is actually saying, that in a democratic space where people have to air their view, where free speech is an integral part of the democracy, criminalizing a fake news publication should be the last thing we should be doing as a country. Now let's look at we journalists. Most often we also rely on certain rumor and make reports out of those rumors. And most of some of these rumors that we publish, it turns out that is false. Then it means that we can also be arrested and then prosecuted for publishing fake news, just like what is happening to Shatta. That is why we want to dedicate this show to actually discuss this and know the nitty-gritties of this particular law, whether or not Ghanaians understand this particular issue. You know, the IGP stood on this law, or the police service stood on this law and arrested Shatta. Tomorrow, it could be you, it could be me. So, should we be arrested, prosecuted, and jailed for something we have said, which turns out to be false? Now, this is the dynamics of, Shatta incident. Now, let's go to the second part of this Shatta arrest. Shatta, Fanny Face, Shatta and his, management team and all that. So, in a nutshell, let's take a second look at the law that criminalizes fake news publication, and we would like to appeal to Parliament the agency and the importance they attach to the LGBTQ law, which is also a good thing, but parts need to be that particular law, so the big parts need to be looked at. They should use the same effort to actually have a second look at this law, if indeed we want to promote free speech, and we have this, in our law, then there is definitely going to be a problem. Now, let's go to our second topic for today, which is, do the police have the right to actually take photographs of suspects and publish same on social media or media? In recent times, the police engagement with the public using the digital media, social media and all that have been very, very impressive. And in fact, it's good. It's very, very impressive and must be commendable. But do they actually have the right to take photographs of suspects and just publish them and even tag them, publish them? Is it right? Now, before we actually look at the issue, let's look at the police themselves, their document, their working document, the police standard procedure document. Let's look at that document, what that document said. When you go to section 254 of that document, 254, then B, it states, and I quote, "A police officer shall not torture or subject an arrested person or a detained person to any form of cruel or degrading treatment." Let me take it again. A police officer shall not torture or subject an arrested person or a detained person to any form of cruel treatment or degrading treatment. This is what the police themselves, the document that guide the police service, this is what the document is saying. Now, I have also taken my time to read the Police Service Act. I have not seen anywhere in the Police Service Act where the police are mandated by law to take photograph of a suspect and publish same in the media. That particular standard procedure also tells us that the police at all times must treat a suspect as innocent until a court of competent jurisdiction proves the person otherwise. So where is this practice that the Ghana Police Service have bestowed on themselves or created a law for themselves, and anytime they arrest a suspect, they will handcuff the suspect and parade those suspects for a photo shoot? As if that is not enough, they publish same on social media, in the media. Now, the danger in this particular practice that is going on, which I have not seen anywhere, any law backing it yet, is that you can be a victim too. Let's assume tomorrow, if I'm also arrested, maybe on a mere suspicion, the fact that you have been arrested doesn't necessarily mean that you have actually committed the crime for which you've been arrested. You've been arrested, then you are handcuffed. You are in a handcuff in the police station. The police officers take you a photograph and circulate on social media. What this is actually telling the public, possibly, is that the police have arrested you, you are guilty. And you know how the court of public opinion, domain or the public domain behave when it has to do with some of these issues. They may not have the opportunity to even follow that particular case till its logic conclusion or till the court made a pronouncement on that particular case. But the first publication that the police service did on their pages and in the media, that is what they are going to carry away. So, for example, look at these pictures. Look at these pictures. Look, Fanny Face. Then the police service on their official page, a verified official page, says that Fanny Face in police custody for allegedly threatening some individuals. They took a photograph of Fanny Face. You can see this is it on the screen. Fanny Face in handcuff, and they have published it on their Facebook pages. Now, let's go to Shatta. Shatta, we are told, even reported himself to the police station. Now, the fact that you are on, the police have invited you and you have actually reported or you have reported yourself, or doesn't necessarily mean that because you are innocent or whatsoever. The police are doing their job. I don't have any problem they handcuffing Shatta or whatsoever. The problem here is that I paraded him for a photo shoot. As if that was not enough, you went ahead to publish it on your official Facebook page, which has huge followers. How Shatta is looking. Look at this particular picture. It's humiliating. This particular act, what the police service is doing, taking photographs of suspects who are reported to the police station and publishing in the media. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I am yet to see any law read. I've been researching on this for the past 2 days or 3 days or so. I have not seen anywhere that if a police arrests a suspect, they should take photograph of it and publish in the media. I have not seen anywhere. Meanwhile, your standard service procedure, that document tells you that any time a suspect is in your custody, you must treat that suspect, and you must not do anything that is degrading, give any degrading treatment to the person. What you have done to Shatta and Fanny Face and their colleagues and other suspects that were arrested, how is this professional per your own document? Which law? The police service, the IGP, should come out now and tell us that which law empowers him, the IGP or the Ghana Police Service, to actually take photograph of a suspect and publish. Now, when you look at the same police, they are documenting. Section 14, policy, Section 14 says that police officers shall treat suspects as innocent, politely, respectfully, and professionally. Now, what you are doing, parading suspects, taking photographs, is that professional? Is that what your document has said? Which law is backed by what you are doing? Look at the pictures. Look at Fanny Face. Look at his, management team and all that. This is what we are about. Ghana Police Service, IGP, address this issue. And for me, I would like to encourage Shatta and Fanny Face and all those suspects whose photographs were taken in handcuff and published. I would like to challenge them and encourage them, whatsoever the situation is. They should sue the IGP, they should sue the Ghana Police Service, they should sue the Attorney General for what they have done. They should take it to court. Let's see what the court has to say about this. I am yet to read anywhere about this particular thing that is going on. Thank you. You are still watching The Watchman. Today is The Watchman's Take. We'll do it sharp, and then we close. Now, the next topic is Shatta arrest, remand. Are there any lessons for us as citizens? Now, when you look at what has happened to Shatta, we are all human beings. Like I said, I was one of the people who were actually calling for his arrest. But upon a sober reflection, we are all human beings. We can all at any point in time be caught up in situations like this. Now, what has this taught us? Shatta Wale, all these things that happened, Shatta Wale, upon series of posts he made on his Facebook pages, which I've always been commenting on them, is that he's claiming that he is responding to what the prophet has said, that he will be shot on October 18th, 2021, which he said the police service didn't do anything about it, the public didn't do anything about it. So he has taken it upon himself, and the only option he thinks that he can do, or only thing he thinks he can do to draw public attention and that of the police service to this particular prophecy, is to fake what, or to do what he has done. Now, what could Shatta Wale have done if I were in Shatta Wale's shoe? Obviously, I would not, if I have the huge platform, a huge platform, I am so popular, I am so like Shatta Wale, I wouldn't go this way. What I should be doing is, first of all, take this particular pastor to court. I have to sue the pastor. Why should he have to sue the pastor over this prophecy? Because one, Shatta Wale is a very big brand. The name alone is a big brand. He is an artist, he's a big brand, he has influence. Now, many companies in commercial, when we talk about commercial, many companies want to sign Shatta Wale for ambassadorial position. He's on brand, he's promoting brands and all that. Which company will actually want to give an ambassadorial contract to Shatta Wale when the company has heard that they say Shatta Wale will die in next month? They will not. Me here, if I'm told that, okay, Shatta Wale will die tomorrow, why will I go and commit my money to sign Shatta Wale? When you look at this ambassadorial and brand promotion, you look at the policy or how it operates. It's not even Shatta Wale's management that is needed. It's the face, it's the personality. So once the personality is off the scene, that particular contract will be affected. So Shatta Wale should have sued the pastor, should have dragged him to court to sue him for causing him damages, perpetual damage, causing him damages that, look, this publication that you have made that I will be short on this and so it has collapsed my brand, or it hurt my brand. It made me lose business. Shatta Wale could have also, in some of the relief, that he could have equally tell the court that, look, ever since Pastor made this particular pronouncement, I have not been in myself, because I'm always scared if it's true, I have to do this. Let me share a very typical example. What I also faced in 2014. A pastor told me that on April 14, 2014, I would die. That is what he told me. So before I can avert that particular situation, I have to, bring, and he listed some items for me that I need to bring, and then plus 1,600 Ghana cedis. Come and see my immediate family. Pressure, putting pressure on me to send the things to the pastor to do the aquantre for me and all that, so that this death will not pass me by. Do you get it? But I didn't do it. At least for today, I'm still alive. At least for today. If it's tomorrow, I don't know. But at least for today, that 14th has passed. 2014. So my immediate family, though myself, I wasn't put in that psychological trauma or that uncertainty that is it true that I will die. He actually told me the thing in February, around February, mid-February. Throughout the period, my immediate family were not feeling comfortable and always putting pressure on me. So I understand Shatta Wale. He could have equally gone, or he might have gone through worse of what I went through because of this prophecy. And this is the reason why we need to check these lotto forecasters calling themselves prophets. Always predicting, making prediction. The moment the dad turns like this, they say, God has intervened. The moment the dad turns like that, oh, because Shatta Wale's mother came to, intervene. That nonsense must stop. That nonsense must stop. And that is what has landed Shatta Wale into this trouble. Now, the other lesson we must learn is that when you look at the way the pastor actually made specific pronouncements, people who actually are ill thinking about Shatta Wale can equally take advantage of what the pastor has said and want to do something to hurt Shatta Wale during that period, because that is what the prophecy has said. That is the main reason why we need to stop this nonsense going on every day. Death prophecy, every day, death prophecy, every day. And people affected by these death prophecies must start suing. It is the same way in the case of this false news publication. The people that are affected in this false news publication, individuals should take civil action against the people that publish those false stories about them. They should go to court and seek remedy. So if a pastor tells or goes on radio, if it's not because of business, if it's not because of church business, because they want their church to boom, their people should come to church, because they are good prophets, they can see precise prophets, why is it that they will go to radio to pronounce that you die tomorrow? Why wouldn't they call? Why wouldn't they just call? If or call anybody close to that person and say, look, I have dreamt about you. I have seen that you have this misfortune has befallen you. So please, let me pray for you, or let me do this for you, or let me do this for you. Why should you have to go on TV, go on radio, if not because of money? And you know the trick behind that? The trick behind that is that in the event that the pastor comes on radio or TV to make those predictions and it comes true, it means that that pastor is genuine. The following Sunday, a whole lot of people will troop the church, offer or make offertories, donations and all that. Look at the moment that news of Shatta Wale shot that evening. Look at what happened. That very evening, you see that particular pastor's video circulating, trending all over social media. If it were true, it means that that particular pastor, whatsoever Jesus has unfair or so, his church will have been full with real people. That day will be a bumper harvest. Look, you these lotto forecasters calling yourself prophet, we know your tricks, so we know your tricks, Papa. Now, what is the other side? In the world of investigation, if any pastor that will want to make it at all costs, get his prediction all right, could equally make this particular pronouncement and go and plan behind door to actually ensure that this particular prophecy come to pass, so that the gaining effect will be that once that thing happens, a lot of people will troop in his church. In fact, when the COVID-19 was coming, which pastor did we see in Ghana that prophesied that COVID-19 will come to Ghana? In fact, when COVID-19 was in China, was coming, I heard Pastor, Bishop Duncan Williams said very well that COVID-19 will not come to Ghana. He said it that no Ghanaian will die out of COVID-19. Pastor Bishop Duncan Williams also said that no government official will die out of COVID-19. Fellow Ghanaians, the answer is yours. Whether or not COVID-19 is in Ghana, or any Ghanaian has died out of COVID-19, or any government official died out of COVID-19, you were also in Ghana here from 2020 till date. The answer is yours. Now, so in the event that you don't, consult elders before you take steps, you are carried up with emotion, just follow your emotion and act. you end up like what is happening to Shatta. Now, let's look at the difference between Shatta case and that of the Tardy woman. The famous Tardy woman that we heard that she allegedly faked her, her pregnancy and also faked her kidnapping. She was arrested. Just after she confessed, she was arrested. But what is the difference between Shatta own and that of this woman? This woman, though, is also a fake publication, make a face, fake the news. She also lied to the police officers. So, in our law, when you lie to a police officer, it's an offense. A public officer, you deceive public officer, and it turns out that you know very well that the statement you are giving to the police is false, yet you went ahead. And this same, it means that you have lied to a police officer or a public officer. The law will get you. It is the same way when you go to court. You will tell the court, normally I'll say nothing but the truth. And in the event that it turns out all the things that you have said in court are false, you can be taken on for perjury. Let's take, for example, the health minister, the Sputnik V vaccine, all the things that he said in parliament that day with respect to the Sputnik V vaccine. Meanwhile, parliament there, once you go to parliament and you appear before a committee, it's just like appearing before a public officer. He lied to the public officers. He lied to the MPs. But what has happened to him? Now, the final one, we are wrapping up, and the final one is, bail, granting bail, and then remand. And the reason why I'm getting into this remand has to do with the fact that I cited a news publication on my newsga.com, which said that the headline was Shatta Medical stop using remand as a form of punishment. Supreme Court judge. Now, the Supreme Court judge, Justice Yoni Kolendi, was actually reported by this news portal to have said that judges to stop actually using a remand into prison's custody as a form of punishment. He went on to say that there are so many other ways that suspects can actually be granted bail, and even mentioned 100,000 Ghana cedis and all that. Now, but what actually is this remand? Remand actually means that, what remand means is that in the event that the police have arrested you and they present you to court, they have within 48 hours to present you to court. Either they grant you a police inquiry bail. The police inquiry bail means that we are still investigating you. We don't have maybe enough evidence to charge you yet. So the police will grant you a police inquiry bail. Now, when during that period that the police grant you the police inquiry bail, if they obtain further evidence that they think that this evidence is strong enough to actually be presented before a court of competent jurisdiction to determine, then they go ahead and charge you. So when they charge you for court, then the court now can grant you a bail for you to go or have your freedom whilst trial goes on. Now, but the first day you go to court, when criminal procedures start, you appear before a court. Your plea is taken. Your plea here is they will ask you, they will read the offense that the offense you've been alleged to have committed. They will read it out to you and ask you whether you are guilty or not guilty. And they will tell you in a language that you understand. Even if you don't understand the language, you have the right to request for an interpreter, or they must say that to you in a language that you understand. So they will ask you, are you guilty or not guilty? Then if you say you are not guilty, then it means that the court can go ahead and make a determination based on the application that or the request that the police brought before the court. So normally the police will go, looking at the gravity of the offense, maybe the police will go to the court, say that, look, the court, we are with you. Give us this number of days. You know, investigation, the case is still young, so give us, remand the suspect either in police custody or into prison custody to give us ample time for us to do further investigation. The reason why they normally ask for that remand is that when you are in remand, the possibility of you maybe tampering with any evidence that the police might go and gather and rely on to actually help them prosecute their case and have solid evidence. They want you to stay away from that particular evidence or the possibility of you tampering with those evidence. That is why they go ahead or they go to court and request that, okay, you should be remanded. And the court, in its own wisdom, reviewing all the evidence or whatsoever presented to them by the police, the court will decide whether or not to grant the remand request. So in the case of Shatta, the court says that the police have requested for a remand and the court has granted, so they are on remand. But one beautiful thing also is that when you are remanded by a lower court, you also have the opportunity, the law also presents an opportunity for you to go to a higher court to apply for bail, so that the higher court will look at the decision or the evidence that the lower court based on to remand you. The higher court can review that and either deny you or grant you that particular bail. In the case, this happened in a case of Owusu Bempa. When he was arrested, his Agrada case between him and then Agrada, which in fact the step he himself took was unmatured step, a step that even a child should not take. Why should you? Somebody maybe is insulting you, daring you. Why should you go to, that one? I won't even venture. The case is under investigation. So now, what it means is that when the lower court remanded him, their lawyers went to the higher court, which is the high court, and actually applied for bail. And the higher court granted the bail. So this is also what has to do with remands. Thank you very much for staying with me. This is Efukoshi Senyo, and today is the Watchman's Take. If you follow this discussion very well and you think you are informed, please comment under, share, and let's know your view to help us also gather more information to help us bring you a better presentation next time. Before the call close, when you hear kukuruku, that is the watchman saying, thank you for staying with us. I'm out.